Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Travel Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Gemma Zinyama, founder of Travel Insights AI, where I've been exploring the people, ideas, and technology shaping the future of travel. So, today I'm joined by Ena Radak, Product Marketing Manager at Lyntel, a fast-growing travel tech company redefining how travelers stay connected across the world. Ena, welcome to the show. It's really lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much, Gina, for inviting me to your podcast. It's truly an honor to be part of this conversation. I really appreciate the opportunity to share my perspective.
So we're going to talk about a little bit about your professional journey in travel tech, which is great because our listeners haven't come across this before. So if you're listening, you really want to stay tuned. From your experience across, say, marketing, product and emerging technologies, whilst in what initially drew you into the tech space, and how has that role evolved for you over time?
Actually, it's a really good first question because this is actually a topic that's very, very close to me. I've been working in tech for the past 7 years almost, and I constantly observe how people behave around technology, especially in moments when emotions are involved. What initially drew me to travel tech was exactly that emotional side of it. Travel is one of the most personal experiences we have in life. You're sometimes excited, you're sometimes stressed, sometimes tired, and always out of your comfort zone during your travel. And yet, the technology that's supposed to support you in those moments often feels cold, complicated, or sometimes even stressful. I spent over 7 years working across marketing, product, and emerging technology like AI and Web3, mostly in fast growing tech environments. In many of those roles, I was the first marketing hire. I was leading the marketing team, building products and go to market strategies literally from zero. I've led marketing teams up to 10 people and worked very closely with product and engineering teams to scale applications that today serves hundreds of thousands of users and generate real commercial impact. Being that close to both the product and the people using it really changed how I think about the technology. Over time, I realized that what I enjoy the most isn't just launching the products or driving numbers. It's also about shaping how people feel when they use something. So travel tech felt like the most natural space for that because small details can make a big emotional difference during travel. Sometimes, for example, working smoothly can be a difference between feeling stressed and feeling safe in a new country. And my role there has, of course, naturally evolved from execution to ownership. Today, I focus mostly more on strategy and product thinking, helping turn complex technology into experiences that feel simple, calm, and human for people across different cultures and different parts of the world.
Wow. I mean, that's really interesting, especially as somebody, I'm the consumer, I'm not in the back end. So it's good to know how you think when you're trying to bring an experience to life. That's great. So would you say, from a broader industry perspective, what do you see as the biggest connectivity and experience challenges modern travelers still face today?
Well, I think the biggest challenge travelers still face today is friction because travel is already full of small stresses. You're in a new place, you're maybe tired, maybe running late somewhere, you're surrounded by things you don't fully recognize yet. And instead of technology making that easier, it often adds more things to think about. So connectivity, I think it's a big part of that. The moment you land, you need your phone just to work. You need maps, payments, messages, bookings, and a way to feel oriented again, of course. When that does not happen, stress builds almost instantly. And on the top of that, everything feels very fragmented. And travelers are jumping between multiple apps, services, platforms, just to get through one journey. It becomes less about enjoying the trip and more about managing logistics, which should not be that way. So the real issue, in my opinion, isn't that we don't have enough technology, is that it doesn't work together in a way that feels calm, not stressed, and more supportive. And in my latest experience, what you already introduced it, I built exactly that kind of connection and to feel connected approach within travel app that is centered around eSIM connectivity. Here as well, I joined as the first marketing hire, and I work closely with product engineering and design teams to help shape that experience from the ground up. And the focus from the start wasn't just on offering mobile data, but also on how eSIM fits into the wider travel journey, from onboarding process, from in-app guidance to communication and to support. So everything was designed to feel simple, to feel calm and reliable for travelers moving across borders. And that experience after almost a year and a half really reinforced my belief that eSIM technology works best when it's part of a broader travel experience, so not just a standalone feature. When connectivity fades into the background and simply works, travelers can focus on where they are and not just on their phone.
Yeah, no, I completely resonate with that. That's great. I was traveling, and again, you don't want to be stung with those huge fees. So just preparation is key. But having a one-stop shop where you don't need to have to stress about how to navigate what you're using is also key. I got hit with a very hefty bill when I went to the Maldives, but we'll save that for another time. But I'm sure your sim could have helped me in that circumstance. So yeah.
We can try it after this call.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk a bit about adaptation and growth in travel tech products. So based on your work across multiple markets, which you obviously have done over the years, what do you truly believe drives adaptation, adoption, and trust in travel technology today?
So, from my experience across multiple markets, adoption is driven far less featured and far more by trust and clarity. So, when people are traveling, they don't want to compare options or read long explanations. They just want to feel confident that something will work when they need it most. So, people adapt travel tech when it feels reliable, easy to understand, and transparent. They want to know exactly what they're getting, how it works, and that it won't surprise them at the end of their trip and their worst possible moment, like right after landing in a new country. I think that that is the worst feeling for a traveler. So that's why in my recent work at Lyntel, for example, I focused on a lot on clarity, making prices visible upfront, clearly showing how long packages last, what's included, removing any questions before someone even travels in their new country. So there, I worked on bringing everything together into one simple offering, combining internet, SMS, calls, everything into one package, and everything into single, easy to understand package. So real growth happens when products respect both the user's time and their emotional state. When people feel informed and confident before they leave, they trust the product once they arrive. So, in my opinion, eSIM technology nowadays becomes really, really powerful today. It removes entire layers of friction that travelers used to accept as normal. There's no physical SIMs to buy, no longer waiting at the airports, no switching to physical cards, and without worrying about whether something will work or not. So connectivity definitely becomes something you set up in minutes and then just forget about it during the whole trip. So when eSIMs, as in our case, are done well, you don't feel like technology at all. And that's all product marketing work. They feel like reassurance to people. And that's exactly why word of mouth plays such a massive role in travel tech and in marketing as well. When something works seamlessly during a real trip, people recommended it and people will remember it and try it again. So that's kind of organic trust, which I think it's far more powerful than any paid campaign. And I've experienced it in my own shoes and doing my own campaigns. And that's why we always stay constant present, fully active on all social media, doing great organic content, clear and timely email campaigns, smart push notifications, in-app guidance, 24/7 customer support as well that supports immediately when someone, for example, is in a stuck or don't have answer on their question, we don't assume that people would figure it out on their own. We show them with simple installation tutorials, clear instructions, and real human support when it matters the most. So, because in travel, trust isn't built when things go right, it's built the moment something could go wrong. And in our case, it doesn't.
Absolutely. So I guess we should really touch on standing out in a crowded travel tech ecosystem because it's definitely there's so much information out there. What does differentiation really mean in travel tech now beyond like features and pricing and all the jargon?
Well, differentiation today is about experience, not novelty. Many travel tech products offer very similar functionality. What really sets, in my opinion, brands apart is how intuitive they are, how they communicate with users, and how they show up when something goes wrong, not when everything is perfect. The question is no longer what does the product do, but how does it make me feel when I'm using it, when I'm in some kind of trouble, for example, during my travelings. That's why in my work, I focus on a lot of removing moments of risks. One example is how I approach communication through AI powered chatbots. The goal isn't to replace human support, but to make sure travelers can instantly get clear, helpful answers when they are tired, when they are stressed, or in a hurry, or after working hours, for example, in 2 a.m. So it's about reassurance, not automation for its own sake. The same thinking, of course, applies to features like airport lounges. It's not about luxury, it's about comfort and predictability during long delays, long layovers, or early morning flights. These are small moments, small things, but they have a huge emotional impact on how whole journey feels. So, for example, take busy London airports like Heathrow Airport or London Stansted Airport right now during the holiday season. Every day, thousands of travelers spend hours queuing through security. And when they finally get airside, many of them, they're left standing, searching for a seat, surrounded by noise and crowds, or paying £15 for just cafe latte just to sit somewhere. So through the app, we've secured partnership with major UK lounge providers, giving travelers access to airport lounges where they can sit down, recharge, rest, reset. No chaos, no stress. So I think the brand that win are the ones that understand this emotional layer and design around it.
Absolutely. I think travel has changed and people specifically want more comfort or as much comfort as they can along the way. So it's really interesting to know that an eSIM can actually provide that service because before this call, I never would have thought there was something that could marry up the two. So it's sounding a bit like more we're getting towards, a one-stop shop for all our travel needs, which is great.
Exactly.
Great to be speaking about. And, you often speak about human first product thinking. What does that mean to you in actual practice? And why do you believe it matters so much in travel?
If you're a marketer like me, human first product thinking means starting with real human behavior, not technical capability. It's about stepping out of dashboards or feature lists and asking yourself a very simple question. What is this person actually feeling right now? So in my practice, that means thinking about context before content. Where is the user when they see this message or use my product? Are they tired after a long flight, stressed at an airport, or excited about arriving somewhere new? A very real marketing example of this is communication timing and tone. Instead of sending long explanations or feature heavy messages, I focus on short, reassuring communication. Sometimes the most powerful message isn't educational at all. It's simply confirming that everything is working well. For example, a quick, you're connected, your internet is ready, your eSIM is ready to use. Everything around that with small messages can reduce anxiety for traveler far more than detailed guide. So in travel especially, people don't want to learn new systems on the move. They want simplicity and reassurance.
That's incredible to think about all these. So maybe we should just move on to AI. technology. Where do you see AI genuinely improving the travel experience for people? And where do you think maybe human judgment and empathy must remain central to that?
Well, AI in marketing is incredibly powerful, first of all, but only if it's used with intention. It's not about replacing creativity or human judgment,
Okay.
it's about supporting them. So when it's used properly, AI helps marketers understand context, timing, behavior, so communication feels more relevant and less intrusive. And unfortunately, when it's used poorly, it just adds more noise. Good AI in marketing works quietly in the background. It helps you stay and say the right thing at the right time in a way that still feels human. And the moment it starts feel robotic or overwhelming, it's being used wrongly by the marketing team. So in my work, one of my ideas was to use AI in a way that actually feels helpful, not technical. Instead of treating chatbots as basic support tools, I wanted them to feel more like a quiet travel assistant for travelers. That idea was simple. When someone, for example, is planning a trip, they shouldn't have to figure everything on their own. So the chatbot can help and can suggest them the right eSIM package based on where they're traveling, how long they're staying, and what kind of usage they're likely to need. So it takes away uncertainty and saves time. So I also explored using AI beyond connectivity, for example, helping travelers think about where they want to go next, which destination fit their travel style, or how connectivity will work across multiple countries on just one trip. So these are small touches, but they help people feel more prepared and confident before they even leave. So, in my opinion, that's where AI works best in travel. It supports decision making, removes friction, and quietly improves the experience without trying to take control away from the user.
Yeah, no, completely. So, from your perspective, what are the biggest challenges travel tech companies face right now? And where do you see the biggest opportunities for innovation going forward?
Well, one of the biggest challenges in travel tech today is rising expectations. Travelers compare travel apps to the best consumer products they use every day, and there's very little patience for pure UX or performance within the app. Another big challenge is trust, especially around the data, around pricing transparency, and whether something will actually work once you cross a border. So I remember being at the conference, I was a speaker then, and someone in the audience asked me, so what's the one feature that guarantees success in travel tech? And I had to laugh because the honest answer is that you will unfortunately never know. You can have the best feature in the world. You can have the best team behind you. You can have the smartest technology, the strongest product on the paper, and it still can fail if the experience doesn't feel right to the user in real travel moments. So, for example, someone traveling from the UK might care most about simplicity and transparency pricing, while someone traveling from Asia might be far more focused on data flexibility and reliability across borders. Business travelers, on the other side, might prioritize speed and predictability, while a first time traveler cares just about reassurance and guidance. So there isn't just one feature that works for everyone. What really matters, in my opinion, is understanding context, culture, and expectations. So when travel tech adapts to people, not the other way around, that's when it truly works.
Right, that's great. And let's look ahead maybe to 2026 and
Mhm.
evolving traveler expectations. How are travelers' expectations? How have they changed over the last few years from what you've witnessed, especially when it comes to simplicity, reliability, and trust?
Travelers have become much less patient with complexity. First of all, people are busy, people are tired, constantly on the move, and they expect things to be instant, intuitive, and honest, especially when they're traveling. So simplicity is no longer a nice to have, it's the baseline. Reliability is assumed, not celebrated anymore, and trust isn't built through big promises, but through small moments of consistency. In my work within marketing teams, this completely shapes how I approach communication. Instead of over explaining or overselling, I focus more on clarity, simple language, clear expectations. So, no surprises. If something works, we don't shout everywhere about that, we quietly confirm it. Or if something goes wrong, we acknowledge it quickly and guide the user through it. Fix the problem, and that's it. Travelers want technology that feels invisible when it works and supportive when it doesn't. So, my role here is often about making sure that marketing reflects that reality. So, the experience feels calm, reassuring, and aligned with what the product actually delivers. I also see this very clearly through my own content on my own TikTok channel. I often share places I genuinely recommend people to visit across the Balkans and across in the UK, especially in London. What I've noticed is that people don't respond to polished, perfect travel content as much as they respond to honesty. So they want, I think, in 2025 and also in future period to know how a place actually feels. Is it easy to get to? Is it overwhelming or calming? Is it worth the time? People ask very practical questions, not just about where to go, but also how it fits into their real trip. So that's influence how I approach marketing overall. Whether it's content, messaging, or product communication, the focus is always on usefulness and trust. So when you respect people's time and speak to real experience, engagement follows always naturally.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I think one of the things you've touched on, it just shows that authenticity is key. People don't want the smoke and mirrors anymore. They're looking for transparency and, integrity as well when it comes down to it, because they won't forget you when they do have a good experience and your information, led them down the right path. So that's incredible. Thank you so, so much, Enna. This has been so insightful for me. I've learned so much that's new. So just to finish up, could I ask where listeners can find out more about Lyntel and learn more, especially as they travel the globe going forward?
Well, right now you can install the our app on Android devices, all iOS devices. Also, we are online and available on all social media channels. You can also contact me on my LinkedIn as well and find also my TikTok page. So we are live everywhere, and you can get response and feedback of if you want to try some package or you don't know how to install eSIM, how to buy package 24/7 with our customer support, what I already talked about with our chatbot. And yeah, honestly, I think as a marketing leader right now, my role at the end of this podcast to say is to make sure we're not adding too much noise within travel industry with those fragmented tools. Manual activation and complicated explanations will feel very outdated very quickly, especially in 2026. So instead, the most successful travel trends brands will be the ones that quietly enable freedom, movement, and confidence without demanding too much of attention. And that's why I think the future I'm working towards, both in how we communicate and in how we design the overall experience around connected travel. That's, I'm sure will be working with my team in 2026. And hopefully, if you did not try eSIM application, I think this will be the perfect time to try it.
Incredible. I'm definitely going to have a look when I get offline. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Travel Leaders podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, which I'm sure you did, be sure to subscribe and share it with somebody else in the travel space. I'm Gemma Zinyama, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again, Ina.
Thank you, Gemma. Thank you.